Hey guys, welcome back to Critical African Thinkers. As you know, this is a place where we examine everything under the microscope of logic to ascertain what is most factual and logically consistent. So, today we're going to be talking about the feud between Nick Fuentes and many of these right wing conservative acolytes. So, it turns out that Nick Fuentes isn't just only having a feud with the likes of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, but it's also extended to someone like Tim Pool. Now, this is a battle of the fascists. And when fascists fight, I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of enjoying myself that these fascists are fighting. But it's weird that they are fighting over who seems to be the good fascist, right? They think that some of them think that they are better than others. Some fascists think that they are better than other fascists. But there is really no material difference between someone like Tucker Carlson or someone like Tim Pool and someone like Nick Fuentes. The only difference I would say is that Nick Fuentes is much more upfront and much more honest about who he is. I mean, he embraces himself in totality. He's like someone like Trump. It doesn't hide behind, um, trying to couch themselves as being some kind of good, just like what Tim Pool is doing. Tim Pool is trying to seem as if like he's the reasonable one, like he's a reasonable person. No, you're not a reasonable person. You are at best a fascist. You're at best a supremacist. I want to put it that way, white supremacist, right? And I don't like any kind of supremacist, whether it be a white supremacist like Nick Fuentes and Tim Pool himself, or a black supremacist like Umar Johnson, or even a Jewish supremacist like Rabbi Shmuley and so many of these Zionist nuts, right? Anything that has to do with supremacy, nah, I don't like any of those stuff. But that's what you get with these guys. But then they fight themselves. And Tim Pool, but it seems like these people always go after Nick Fuentes first. They attack him, they fight him, they try to discredit him as not being authentic enough, maybe not being authentically fascistic enough. It's not good enough for them, right? But he comes back very, very strongly at them, and he comes back very, very, and the things he says about them is usually spot on. What he says about them is usually spot on. So we're going to go through what Tim Pool said about Nick Fuentes and what his comeback was, and he just crapped all over Tim Pool. So let's get right into it.
If someone came to me and said, I don't like the US spending money in these foreign wars, Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, Afghanistan, Iraq, I'd say, oh, I understand.
I'm
But,
totally with you on that.
but when they come to me and they say the US should be spending money on Israel, I say, what about other countries? No, Israel. And I'm like, dude, the only thing you care about is that you are Israel first and foremost. All the Groypers, Nick Fuentes, and everyone there, Israel first. The only thing they ever talk about, they won't shut up about it. They love Israel. I get it. They hate it. They hate Israel. They hate APAC. They hate all these people, but it's the only thing they talk about. They act like no other problems exist.
Right.
And I'm like,
So I don't understand this point. Do they love Israel or they hate Israel? Are they talking about Israel because they love it or they hate it? This point is not coherent. But it seems like what he's getting at is that these people are obviously so obsessed with Israel, they don't talk about any other thing. So it does come off as them hating Israel, right? But when you see what APAC is doing, when you see the sort of stronghold that the Israeli government, the Zionists, have over American politics, then it begins to make sense to you why people will be suspicious and say, what the hell is going on here? I mean, everything that the US is doing it on the behest of Israel, of a foreign country. Oh, it's wild. So someone who is calling that out, right? Is it really hate? Is it really hate? But let's see where Tim Pool is taking this thing to.
the point is, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing in your mind is Israel. For me, it's America. How do we secure our borders? What's going on with fentanyl in Canada? What's going on with illegal immigration from Guatemala into our country? So when I have a list of countries I care more about, I'm like, first of all, American labor. Are we helping Gen Z get in the labor force, buy houses, and have families? That's the first thing I'm thinking about when I wake up. How do we build culture among Americans? How do we get people to be moralistic in our country? Then I'm
How
worried.
exactly is Tim Pool doing that? How exactly is he trying to help Gen Z? What policies has he proposed? What things has he done? Tim Pool is in the business of, just trying to generate controversy. He's in the business of attacking Democrats, attacking the left, of supporting Donald Trump. He's in the business of taking money from Russia and spreading Russian propaganda. So I don't see how his claim that he's in the business of, oh, how do we help Gen Zs? How do you help America? And he lists out in a couple of countries in the American continent that he's concerned about. No, this is just for him to make a point. It's for him to make a point. He literally doesn't really care about all these things, but he's going to say he cares about these things. That Israel is like on the 100th on the list. But as Nick Fuentes is going to show later, that's actually not true. These people are actually running cover for Israel. They're running propaganda for Israel. Many of these right-wing YouTubers, many of them are literally running propaganda for Israel after running propaganda for Russia.
About Mexico. They got cartels. They're shoveling drugs up to our country. Our borders insecure. Then I'm concerned about Guatemala. Then I'm concerned about El Salvador. Then I'm concerned about Honduras. Then Brazil. And at some point down the list, I'm like, there's Israel. But these people wake up every day bashing their faces against the wall, screaming the word Israel. And I'm like, you are Israel first. And I hope you hear me.
Yeah. So bashing your head about Israel, what has Israel been doing in the last 20 months? Killing innocent Palestinians. That's what it's been doing. Decimating the civilian population. 70% of Gaza is a parking lot, is rubble. Just yesterday or just today, five journalists were killed. And the Israeli government, they're coming out, they're open about it. They're saying that this is what they did. Killing journalists. The only reason why you would kill journalists if your enemy is the truth, if you don't want the truth getting out. Israel has killed more journalists than were killed in World War One, World War Two, and so many other conflicts put together in 20 months in within a very small geographical area. So forgive me for people talking about Israel and its actions in Gaza, right? It's people are going to talk about it and the undue influence Israel has on American politics. So it's not out of place to talk about such things.
Clearly, they're definitely focused on Israel far more than they are on the U.S.
Yep. And that's why when they said they would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump, I said, that is a person who would burn this country to the ground because they care more about Israel. They hate Israel, but Israel matters so much more to them. They would see America burn if it meant bad things happen to Israel.
So how do you care more about something and still hate it at the same time? Mind you, Joe Biden did not take the bait when Israel baited Joe Biden of trying to attack Iran, of trying to start a war with Iran. Trump did that. So who is actually worse? Who is worse for American foreign policy in the Middle East than Donald Trump? Donald Trump has been solidly behind what Israel is doing. No sanctions have been on Israel. At least even the Biden administration at a certain point in time said they were not going to deliver a certain type of munition or bombs. But Trump has it's a blank check. Trump is literally in the palms of Netanyahu. And I think there was a tweet a couple of days ago where a rabbi, an Israeli Jewish rabbi, essentially threatened Donald Trump with the Epstein files, with outing him if he stopped supporting Israel. So, what are you saying?
Your nose to spite your face, yeah.
I don't know why you care so much. And they live in these crazy worlds where Israel is the most important country on the planet. And I'm telling you, it is fascinating how they think Israel controls the weather. I like the amount of, it's not even a joke.
I know, it's obvious that Ian controls the weather, not Israel.
The amount of crazy conspiracies they think, they believe that Israel controls everything, is this secret cabal of Jews that are running the whole world. And I'm like, that is Israel's first you can get.
Well, you get that from Zionists themselves. I mean, from the last show that I did, Jewish Americans, former U.S. Senator Noam Coleman literally said that Jews are the masters of the universe. That we have Sam Altman at OpenAI, we have Zuckerberg at Facebook, we have Sergey Brin at Google. That all these Jews should use their influence to shape digital narrative in favor of Israel. So they are the one who are perpetuating this conspiracy. Zionists themselves are the one perpetuating this conspiracy. So forgive these other gripers for latching on to something that was started by Zionists themselves. I mean, you cannot eat your cake and have it. You cannot be the one that is perpetuating anti-Semitic stereotypes and then cry about it. If Israel is claiming all Jews for itself, if you criticize Israel and you're being told that you are anti-Semitic, it means that okay, you are attacking all Jews, right? But in the same breath, Israel is saying that every Jew in the world is responsible for the actions of Israel, which is not true. Not all Jews are Israelis. But you claim all Jews, and when people, hold Jews responsible for the actions of Israel, you say, "Ha, you see, it wasn't even about Israel. It's always about Jews." So either way, they have this cloak of anti-Semitism to just shield Israel, right? Usurping Jewish identity to shield Israel from criticism, and it's literally insane.
They hate America, and they only care about Israel. It's the only thing they focus on.
So Tim,
Okay, so that was the Team Pool, who I usually like to call Team Fool. That was his attack on Nick Fuentes, and we're going to get the response of Nick Fuentes now.
go fuck yourself. You were in a meeting with Netanyahu, and nobody would even know that unless somebody leaked it. You got mad that you got exposed and found out. You met with the Prime Minister of Israel. You've lost your ability to say that you're impartial. I only care about America. Is that why you were meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and telling him about how anti-Semitism is created by Qatar? I mean, give me a break.
And this is true for many of these right-wing influencers. I am very sure that the Israeli government is paying many of these right-wing influencers to have pro-Israel narratives, to push pro-Israel narratives. And it's the same thing they did with Russia, with the money that Tim Pool and a couple of other, Dave Rubin and a couple of other people took to push Russian propaganda. So these people are mouthpieces for right-wing, ultra-nationalist, fascist governments and groups all over the world. If you fit that criteria, you can approach them and they're ready to do business with you. And what Nick Fuentes is saying is essentially correct.
Allow Daily Wire to use your facility or vice versa for your election night coverage in 2024.
I mean, the Daily Wire, it's lost all pretense of even being an American independent media platform. It's literally almost every show that Ben Shapiro does is about Israel. So it's literally a mouthpiece, a propaganda mouthpiece for Israel. That's what Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire is.
After you denied that you were going to get bought out by them, you took Russian money. So shut the fuck up. You are not impartial. You don't care about America.
None of these guys are impartial. They all have an agenda. There is nothing selfless about what they're doing. I mean, they're riding this wave. They're riding this anger that many right-wing Americans are feeling. They are feeding it. They're foiling it. That's why when things are not going very well when things are not going their direction, they try to reignite some of those things. They bring DEI, they bring critical race theory, try to bring all those things that rallies the base together. Trump tries to do that too, just as a distraction. I mean, he brought up Obama just as a distraction to the Epstein files. This is what these people do. This is what these right-wing nuts, that's what they do. Nothing else. They don't care about America. They care about the money that they're making, and they're making whole lot of money. They care about the influence that they have. I mean, who is Tim Pool? But right now, he's rubbing shoulders with presidents, with the president of the US, with the Prime Minister of Israel, and possibly with Putin himself. This is what it gets them: access to power, access to resources, and that's what's most important to them.
And by the way, you talk about Israel all the time. You just take the pro-Israel position because you're in the
Exactly.
pocket for Israel. You're in the pocket for Israel because you're platformed on YouTube. And if you went too hard against Israel, they'd take that away. And everyone knows that. You're in the pocket for Israel because of your business dealings with Daily Wire, which, as we found out, thanks to Candace Owens, is an Israel-controlled racket. They won't be in business with you. They won't have you as a host if you criticize Israel. And because you have met with the Prime Minister of Israel himself. So let's just cut the shit and let's just stop pretending that you're some Gen X skater bro who's a patriot and a truth teller and a conservative. You are a pawn of foreign intelligence. You took money from Tenet, which was funded by Russia. You're in bed with Daily Wire and you met with Netanyahu. You are not what you say you are. And by the way, the only reason you have an audience is because you're the only one left on YouTube.
If someone
Now, the funny thing about Tim Pool taking money from Russia, which he came out to say, "Oh, I didn't know that the money was coming from Russian sources." But the fact that he would take money to push a certain narrative in itself, it's problematic to begin with, right? It shows that you are not there for any principle. You are not there for something that you truly believe in. You are there to take money to push narratives that might not necessarily be the truth, that may not reflect reality, that might not reflect what is substantive, what is on ground. Anyway, guys, the link is in the charts. If you want to call in, you can call in. Let's have a conversation quickly. So that is it with these guys, the battle of the fascists, and we're going to see who's going to come out on top. I mean, Nick Fuentes has he's gone against Tucker Carlson, he's gone against, I think, Charlie Kirk, he's gone against Tim Pool, he's gone against many of these inauthentic right-wing conservative grifters. I call them inauthentic because they are not owning fully what they are. They're not owning the. How does someone like Tim Pool have the guts to? How does he have the guts to criticize someone like Nick Fuentes? You're essentially the same, only worse, because you're not honest. At least the other guy is honest. At least the other guy will tell you that he's a racist, he's a misogynistic, he's a white nationalist, he's a fascist, he doesn't like Israel, so he's possibly anti-Semitic. He's going to say all those things. He's not going to try to hide behind, oh, I'm a good guy. No, he's going to say all those things. But you see all these other guys, someone like Tucker Carlson, someone like Tim Pool, someone like Candace Owens, these are not good people. These are ultra nationalist people. These are fascistic people. These are people who thrive on othering a certain group, who thrive on othering. You have to create a category. It's us versus them. That's what they do. That's the business they're into. But they're not bold enough to come out and tell you with their full chest to say, this is what we are. No, they're going to hide behind, and then they're going to call some other people names. They're going to say those ones are not true. They're not true conservatives. They're not true right wingers. You know, years ago, I used to fall for all this right wing nonsense because, it seemed like the common sense thing to do. And because genuinely at that time, the left had gone crazy, wokeism was at its peak. So the right seemed like the reasonable ones. They seemed like they were much more grounded in reality. But there's been a flip. I mean, it's like they overextended themselves. It's like they took it too far. Their brains, their minds became broken, that they could not see reality. They could not see that they'd become that which they were fighting. They did not see that they'd become thin-skinned, becoming very, very, the rhetoric became much more inflammatory. They adopted all the tactics that the leftists that they used to criticize had. They adopted all those tactics and they put it on overdrive. I mean, a very clear example is Elon Musk and what he's done with Twitter. Well, Twitter doesn't exist anymore because Elon Musk has killed it with what he's done with X. I mean, he said there's not going to be censorship, but almost the very first thing that Elon Musk did when he bought Twitter was to suspend the account of that guy, that guy that was tracking his jets with publicly available data. Elon Musk said, "Oh, I'm not going to. No, I'm not. It's free speech. It's free speech." Right? But then he went ahead to suspend that account. And then other journalists kept getting attacked and kept getting suspended. Even my Twitter account was permanently my Twitter account was permanently banned or suspended. What have you? Mostly for criticizing Israel, I would say that, and Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk. Those were the three people. Those were the three classes of people I was actually criticizing on there. And I just woke up one day and saw that had been suspended from Twitter. And okay, yeah, fine. I'm going to leave the platform. It's a shit platform anyway. There's nothing substantive going on anyway there. So I left. I went to Substack, right? Just like I left Facebook years ago and I never looked back. So these people, they have their agenda, but they're going to fade away. The problem that what I don't understand about them is that they don't know that this is not going to last. It's too chaotic for it to last. It's too chaotic for it to be productive, for it to um it's this. I don't see these MAGA movements and the conservative grifters that you see left, right, and center. I don't see them surviving Trump. Once Trump is gone, they're going to be gone, and many of them are going to be in jail because it's just too disruptive. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, I like the fact that Nick Fuentes is putting these people on their toes. He's putting them where they belong. They belong with one another. They're not any different from each other. They all are in the same category. They're all in the same box. But at least one is honest enough to show his true colors. So you know how to deal with them. You know how to deal with him. Not the other ones that are hiding behind a veneer of civility to do all the terrible things and push all the terrible agenda. Remember when they said Project 2025? Oh no, it's Trump denied having any knowledge of something like Project 2025, and immediately they got into power. They're like, yeah, it's us. We're going to do it. We're going to start implementing these things. And I think I saw a recent there was a pastor in the US that's calling for Christian theocracy. I mean, that's a wild idea. That's a crazy idea. I'm a Christian, but I wouldn't want to live in a Christian theocracy. I'd rather live in a secular state where people are free to practice their faith and their religion. Religion shouldn't be by compulsion, because when you start compelling things, then there is a tendency for abuse. So whether in a Christian theocracy, as long as it is run by man, there is always going to be abuse. There's no potential for abuse. There is always going to be abuse. So let it be voluntary. Those who want to live their life the way they want to live their life, as long as they're not impacting on some other person, that's their problem. Let them do it the way they want to do it. But these religious nuts want to tell other people how to live their lives, and it makes absolutely no sense. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about today on this show, where the fascists are fighting. Let them fight. Let them bloody themselves. Let it be like let it be like a gladiator match. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be mocking. I'm going to be having fun. I'm going to be amused by them, by whatever they're doing to themselves. And I'm going to be happy when they finally implode, when they finally destroy themselves, because that's what they deserve. When you're spreading hate, when you're spreading division, when you're spreading rancor, disharmony, that's what you deserve. You don't deserve to grow. You don't deserve to thrive. You don't deserve to flourish, because a whole lot of people are going to be harmed if they continue to thrive and flourish. So thank you very much. Thank you, Pick Through. Thank you, Luke Bovine, and all other people that came to the stream today. I'll catch you guys in another live stream. It's bye for now.